This guy can do all that sort of stuff. Can you talk about that on this podcast?
Yeah. We talk about what we want. We're bad boys of podcast as well. No one can tell us what to say.
Jesus.
Apart from YouTube.
Yeah.
Apart from YouTube, yeah.
And everyone else.
Yeah, but other than that, no one can tell us what to say. Yeah, I got a bum hole. That's hot. Yeah, I got a bum hole. So what? Welcome to another episode of the Three Speech Podcast. I am the mad lad, Jihad, man from Isfahan. Bad boy of comedy. I am Darius Davies. I'm joined as ever by the man who was born to fly, the Bajan sensation, the leader of the bird gang, Mr. NICO YEARWOOD.
In the building.
In the building. And of course, as ever, we are joined by controlled opposition, Mr. Hate Speech himself, Leo KEARSE.
Hiya. Hello, how are you? I've just had a baby.
And behind the mic, producer extraordinaire, it's the Nerula Gorilla, it's me!
Hey.
Wow, listen, we're back in the studio. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, good, man.
Yeah, seamless chit-chat.
Banter over.
Banter over. Nico, all right, these are the things we're going to be discussing today on today's podcast. We're going to talk about Kanye West's latest breakdown videos. They're hilarious. What else did we say?
Liz Truss. No,
we're not
Nord
Liz
Stream.
Nord Stream, we know the British did that.
Taylor Swift is all top 10 something.
Taylor Swift, top 10.
I thought we agreed we were going to have a bit of banter first and maybe see if we're going to go into some topics because...
Hey, how's GB News going, Leo?
Oh, the GB News. Yeah, I'm on GB News. And my co-anchor is... Who's my co-anchor?
Nick Dixon.
Nick Dixon,
your
yeah.
co-anchor and good friend Nick Dixon.
Yeah, it's really going well, and it's lovely to be able to freely express myself, and
Nice.
yeah.
And what do you grooming gang still a big deal?
Grooming gangs, yeah.
Big deal.
Woke Stasi.
Woke Stasi.
Yeah.
Nico, you gonna join in with this?
Yeah, just looking at topics.
This is your podcast as well.
Checking topics.
Remember Nico's contribution to last week's podcast?
See you later, guys.
What an episode. Riveting content. The more astute of you will have noticed that this isn't actually Leo KEARSE, although they're both Gaelic backgrounds. It is, in fact, the man from Dublin, the savage, Dave McSavage.
Yay.
Thanks for having me on, Nico and Darius and Mooch.
Listen, welcome, Dave McSavage. For those of you who don't know,
which would be everyone.
Well, we've spoken about you a few times on the podcast. Mainly, it's Nico using Schadenfreude. Apparently, he had a terrible gig and someone walked by and went, "That was really shit."
Oh yeah, no, I was actually so in Top Secret. There's a little curtain. Thank you. And I died on my fucking hole, and I'm sitting there behind the curtain. The audience is walking by, and I heard one person referring to me, one member of the audience saying that was terrible, and the other person said, "Yeah, it was beyond awful." And when I told Nico that,
No, they said beyond shit.
Beyond shit.
Look at this grin on his face.
we know about this podcast. It was beyond shit, Dave.
It was beyond shit, but it wasn't just shit. Like, it was way beyond. Like, how far beyond shit? But it was beyond shit. But it is definitely other comedians. There's nothing more exciting than seeing another comedian die on stage. I mean, it's very, very funny. Very funny to watch.
It's the best
Therapeutic.
But it is. It's kind of it's like smelling salts for you as a comedian. When you really die badly, generally the next show you're going to do quite well. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, Darius, do you ever walk on feeling a bit overconfident or like,
Sometimes.
Yeah.
most of the time, but I'm rapidly humbled.
When's the last time you died badly? Or
My last death, well, it would have been maybe the Edinburgh Fringe, but I don't know if that kind of doesn't really count. So that's like international water death. Although they weren't even deaths. They were me just having mental breakdowns on stage and abusing people.
I had a 1-star review in the Edinburgh thing in '96 or something.
Well, that's when they really counted as well.
And I was on the page of shame.
What? They had a page of shame?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they had the page of shame.
How the papers have changed and how things have changed. Like, could you imagine having a page of shame these days?
But yeah, he's white. He's a white man. It's still be on it. I can imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did it affect your confidence?
Yeah, well,
Page
well, it's
attained.
funny. In the same way, because it was the first time I ever did stand up in Edinburgh, and I was like one of those delusional X Factor contestants, and I couldn't, I thought just by being there, and I thought literally anything that fell out of my mouth was worthy.
Were you still doing the same style of comedy you do now?
No, I mean, it's taken me a very, very long time to get occasionally good, but
Can I just interject? So I
Yes.
know we've been shitting on Dave and saying that he was beyond shit, but Dave is genuinely one of the best, funniest comedians. You're one of the few comedians I stay and watch.
Oh, wow, Darius.
when they're on stage. So I always enjoy your stuff. It's kind of like controlled chaos. It's in the moment, but there's material as well. It's great. And then subsequently, I found out that despite your somewhat modest attitude, you're kind of a big deal in Ireland. You're a little bit famous.
yeah,
You're well known.
semi-successful.
And you had a wicked TV show.
Yes.
So Dave had a TV show called, what is it?
Savage Eye.
Savage Eye. And there's some wicked clips. I've seen one of them where you're a priest dealing out the Eucharist or something, like a drug dealer. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's right. If Catholicism was outlawed, people would have to take communion, like drugs. They'd have to. Yeah. So that was a good sketch. Well, actually, I have to say though that
You had a team of-
Foil Arms and Hog wrote that sketch.
Really?
You have to put that out there. They wrote
Those
that.
sons of...
So you had a team of writers? How many writers
There was
were
4
there?
writers, but most of the really great sketches, obviously, I wrote. But we had 4 writers, 6 episodes per series, and it took us about a year to write the whole series.
How many series did you have?
4.
4 series, 6
But I mean, it's
episodes,
intense
4.
amount of work. I mean, as comedians, people who don't do comedy, they don't realize how dangerous it is when you get comedy wrong.
Why?
Why don't they realize?
No, why? What
What's dangerous
happens?
about
Yeah,
getting
what's-
comedy wrong?
Well, what I'm saying is people come to a comedy club with an expectation that you're going to say stuff that's funny.
Yeah.
And if you don't, they feel fucking cheated. And there's an almost inappropriate anger directed at you if you fuck it up. But we know that because we're at the coalface, as it were, as comedians. So we know, so what I'm trying to say is with the TV show, we worked really, really hard to make sure that the sketches were match fit. Okay. And a lot
You're
of them were,
saying
but most of them weren't that.
Some of them are still going viral though. Because I knew you as a comedian, and then someone WhatsApped me one of that video. I was like, I know Dave.
Yeah.
I've touched him.
That was a good one.
So the Savage, like when you was this around this, like was the name anything to do with like Brass Eye? Was that around the same sort of
I
time?
only
or-
realised that the other day. I think Brass Eye was before Savage Eye. No,
Because I mean, it's not a sketch. Brass Eye wasn't. I suppose it was kind of a sketch show, but it was a mock kind of.
it was
news thing.
it was basically. I noticed that with TV, people kind of like to know what they're about to tune into before they do.
Yeah.
So I was trying to tip everything in the balance of the TV show doing well. So that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just police.
That's London.
And so it was. So the thing is, and also, I think it's satisfying for an audience, for there to be a bit of a beginning and a middle and an end to the little sketch show. So we'd ask questions. So the first question of the first episode in the series was, "Why do the Irish drink so much?" And being an alcoholic, I felt qualified to answer that. So and in every episode. We used as a chapter British rule, so which obviously is a gross exaggeration.
Yeah.
But there's an element of truth in it as well.
What? I forgot what I was going to ask.
I know. No. I lost interest. I lost interest in what I was saying as well.
No, it's Nico.
No, I don't blame you, Nico.
Have you drank your water
I've
today?
died in front of
I
Nico.
got my water.
You got your water.
You
But
get drink.
what was the reason the Irish drink so much that you concluded with?
The reason
You don't drink now, do you?
No, I don't. I
want a
haven't
gas
drank
bomb?
since 2004. What?
Do you want to break that and have a gash bomb?
Let me answer the question, man.
The reason the Irish drink so much, well, obviously there are in every town there's just pubs everywhere, right? And So that's one thing. So when people congregate, they congregate in pubs, and some people can handle alcohol. There's a lot of nascent alcoholics, you know, and some people can handle drink, and a lot of people can't, like me.
So is it not linked to the socio-economic hardships?
And also, it's very socially acceptable to be drunk. Like if you're drunk in Ireland, it's not seen as a bad thing, whereas in other countries it would be looked down upon. Okay. You know what I mean? Or is it not so linked to the socio-economic? How do you mean?
He's just trying to use big words. He doesn't even know what he said.
Yeah. I read that yesterday. I thought I'd slip it in today.
Do you mean
poor people drink more than
yeah.
rich people in Ireland, or do they just drink poorer quality than the richer people in Ireland?
Well, there's just like that's where people congregate in rural areas. So if you're congregating in places where there's drink,
you're gonna drink.
You're going to drink, and some people can handle that, and they'll know when to stop. But for instance, when I drink, I want to drink to fucking oblivion. You know what I mean? And I you know, drink wine and vodka and.
But don't you have strange pools later?
Oh, if you drink Guinness?
The following day.
Nico,
oh, yeah, no, because strange poos, I mean, listen, it's like emptying a barrel into a fucking, you know, yeah, it's a mess.
That's the main thing I don't like about getting.
But no, I was a proper, like for about 8 years, I was like drinking, you know, drink one night, hungover the next day, really drunk the next night, like, and that it was like that for 8 years. So I was a raging fucking alcoholic.
This was before, during, or after you had the show?
Before the Savage Eye, and I stopped drinking in 2003. I burnt so many bridges. Do you know something? The reason I started drinking was when I went to Edinburgh, I saw comedians like yourselves, and I felt unworthy to hang. This is in '96, and I'd see people like, I'm trying to think of the comedians that were, Christ almighty, like Simon Munry, Phil Kay, all those guys. And I wanted to hang out with them, but I didn't feel worthy, didn't have the confidence. So I started drinking, and, you know, and then would try to hang out with them, but would ruin any potential of an actual relationship because I was such a drunk fucking mess. Rich Hall. I used to go to Rich Hall's show all the time in Edinburgh. So that opened the floodgates in terms of my alcoholism.
Did it make you funnier or less funny, or did it have
an disaster?
Oh, really?
Anybody who thinks that drinking enhances creativity, absolute bullshit.
So how did you get a TV show after drinking so much then? It must have helped.
No, it didn't. I stopped drinking in 2003, and I did the TV show in 2009.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, you did it way after. What about drugs? Are you teetotal on drugs, Dave?
Can't go near fucking drugs.
Psychedelics?
No, can't. Whatever doors are in my head, they need to stay firmly closed. Can't handle. I know you're otherworldly. You're able to dibble dabble. Right.
Go and speak to the spirit people.
I can't handle it, Darius.
Come and join us.
No.
We invited George on to do DMT today, but he's got a hangover from his
George?
George Zach.
He's still in the toilet at that
Greek
place.
guy.
Yeah.
It
was his birthday last night, and we went out, and I said, I'll come to the podcast. We'll give you DMT. You can do it on air because, you know, he's a guinea pig. But he's obviously
Have you done DMT?
No, but we have DMT.
We've got a lot of DMT.
We don't know how to do it.
I don't have any DMT.
I've got shitloads of it. I'll bring some in.
I've never seen it.
What would you do? How come you have DMT?
You smoke it.
One of our listeners, I won't name his name to dox him, but actually I doxed one of our other listeners the other week. So anyway, he said I can get you DMT. He brought this DMT, and as I'm thinking to the Poodle Comedy Club, Quantum Leopard, and. I thought it was going to be a small bag. He pulled out like a kilo block of it. Like, you know when they wrap it with tape and it's like,
Yeah.
What the fuck? So I've got a kilo of that. It comes in a powder and you smoke it or you can vape it. But you can vape it on the oil, on the coil, but you can also mix it in the oil and vape it, and it's easy. But if you smoke it properly, it's really harsh. So it's quite difficult to smoke. So... That's where
we're at. Are you going to do that? Are you going to try some?
This is what it looks like. This sort of stuff. So
yeah, it looks like that.
And it's kind of, they kind of make it. You can make it from tree bark.
It's natural.
Would you do stuff like that?
I don't do. I've never seen DMT or touched it.
My old flatmate used to make it. He sort of was able to sort of hit, like, you just need some like these weird tree bark and shit like that. And there's a chemical process and you can make it. It's not particularly hard to sort of make.
Synthesize it.
Yeah, well,
Apparently, it's like much stronger than actual acid and stuff like that.
It's an intense high that lasts about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it still can be you can still fuck yourself just because it's not.
It's up and down. They call it the businessman's trip. But obviously in that 15 minutes, you live about 1 million lifetimes and you see 1 million different things. So people have profound experiences. I have one friend, I'm not sure if we can say, he may or may not have produced a rogue episode of this pod, John Kogan, who did DMT.
Jesus.
What?
Dude.
What did I say?
Stop calling people's
No,
names and
he's
places.
cool. He's cool. He talks about it.
God, listen, Nico, you've come here with a bad attitude today.
I'm in great shape.
Wait, what's the ambrosia thing?
Darius made a great joke once.
Yeah, and then we kept this ambrosia until they pay us to take it away.
Yeah.
Eventually, what? Anyway, John Kogan took it. He said he had a good trip, but then after that he suffered severe anxiety. Nico's got OCD, so he's trying to get it in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. So I would suggest that people do not take DMT unless they do it under controlled medical supervision or something.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Fucking hell.
I appreciate
I wouldn't
that.
go near that shit.
Why?
And it's not fucking cool either.
It is cool.
It fucking isn't.
It is cool.
Darius.
I was wearing a leather jacket and I'll do it. Cool as fuck.
See,
Things
Darius,
that,
you see, Darius, you're kind of like Keith Richards or something.
Yeah, that's
you,
right.
do, you don't get affected by stuff like that.
That's right.
Yeah, I know, but and then people kind of look up to you. Oh, I want to be like Darius.
No,
I
if
don't
you
want,
look up to
I
me,
kind of
you're-
want to be. Yeah, I might want to be like you.
You shouldn't.
I'm fucking 56 and I'm thinking that. So can you imagine a young dude looking at you going, "Yeah, I'll do DMT."
Yeah.
Fucking 2 weeks later, he's like catatonic in a fucking mental hospital. It's not funny then, Darius.
It is funny.
comedian said he had a friend who did DMT, and they did the DMT.
Yeah, John Kogan
No, they
Was it John Kogan?
no, not John.
from Cricklewood.
No,
B&Q.
and the friend went into this world and lived in there for what felt like, let's say, 20, 25 years. And then when he came out, he was depressed in real life because he had a profound attachment to the people he met in that reality. So he spent the rest of his, well, not life, but he longed for that connection he had with them. So now he's in a terrible depression.
You see, that's why Darius can do drugs like this, because he does not build relationships like this with anyone. He can go into
That's
fucking
right.
But
another.
his brain chemistry is such that he can do that.
But
Like my brain chemistry loved vodka. I could probably drink loads and loads of vodka. Maybe you.
I can't drink loads of
You
vodka.
see?
I could drink a normal amount of vodka. But Nico, your friend that you're talking about is
it's
Nicholas
a-
Lyndhurst, and he starred in a TV show
comedian.
called Good Night, My Darling, or whatever that show was called. And he'd go back to the World War II times. Then he had, that's the plot of that show.
Well, it sounds like
But
Inception.
That's well, I'm not gonna say the comedian's name, but yeah, because I don't dox.
But they
I dox everyone.
we can always bleep it out. And it's when you smoke it, you need to break through, because it's a really intense trip very, very quickly, and it scares you. Apparently, I've not done it, but like because it's not like when you take mushrooms or acid, when it kind of
Mooch, I've got 2 sons.
Yeah.
I met them.
I would say to them, Daniel, Jack, don't go. I would say you can't. This is the thing. Other thing about addicts, which I am, an alcoholic. We don't like to be told anything because we're such fucking contrarians and we're so oppositional. But I would suggest strongly. I mean, it's a big risk. I would hate my sons to do it, and I know people who are susceptible to mental illness, not people like you or and it's a risky fucking thing to do, sir. But I don't want to be a buzzkill. Like, I have tried ecstasy. I did ecstasy.
Did you ever do shrooms or LSD?
I did ecstasy once, and I had a fucking panic attack. This is in the year 2000. I had a fucking panic attack on ecstasy. I was dancing in a fucking nightclub, and then then I stopped dancing. Boom, boom, and then my heart was beating so fast, and then whatever the high, it just sort of turned in on itself, and my fucking balls started to shrink, and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And then I called it. I said, "Take me to the fucking hospital." A fucking ambulance was called to this shit fucking nightclub in Dublin. My Hannah was with me at the time. She's peeked out of her head. She thinks it's all hilarious. And then I'm in the fucking in the ambulance heading to Vincent's Hospital in Dublin, right? And the ambulance driver says, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" "I'm dying. I'm dying." "What'd you do?" "I took ecstasy." "You fucking idiot!" And when he called me a fucking asshole, in that moment I knew I wasn't probably dying, so I started to calm down a little bit. But
You psyched yourself up into a panic attack.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think-
not for drugs.
I don't
Like,
think
I'm
that-
already slightly fucking on drugs at the moment anyway. You're obviously some kind of different level.
Well, what did you ever do mushrooms then or LSD?
Hallucinogenics are not for him. If he like, you need to be in a
I'm
right
off my
frame
tits
of.
now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking.
yeah,
things.
think how much more fun it would be if you were doing it with psychedelics. Going,
My dad had a great
Fuck,
way.
fuck that.
of,
And you're the same, Nico. You wouldn't do. If you're already a bit paranoid.
That's it. What are you
A
talking
bit.
about?
No, but Nico, do you know what
I'm
I
the
mean?
most level-headed guy here.
No, but do you know what I mean? You wouldn't be doing LSD.
I tried LSD.
what did you think?
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's a
Why?
bit. That's a commitment.
It stays in the system too long.
It goes on to 6 hours or
it's
something.
too
Yeah, it's
long.
long.
Can be
Take
longer
half a
than that.
trip.
And it's not organic visual. It's very, very clinical and very like geometric.
It feels like
It's-
man-made.
It's like computer code type thing.
Yeah, good.
Vectorals.
You'd be the sort of guy, I'd be panicking, and I guarantee you, Darius would be like dancing around me, fucking with my head.
My boss from an old company who now has got a huge company. He went to India and he took
Elon Musk.
not Elon Musk. He took a he went on like a retreat and they gave him mega doses of LSD. Did a mega dose, and he said in that trip it lasted about
Heroic dose.
Heroic dose. He had 20,000. He lived 20,000 lifetime. Born, died, born, died, born, died. 20,000 lived every life. And then he came back to it. Now he's a successful business owner. Said it was good. And then we got caught picking mushrooms on a hill in Wales by the police, and I got a caution.
My dad had the
Caught the
best
problem.
way of sort of keeping me away from like hallucinogenics and stuff like that. Because when I was about 15, 16, and I was quite straight and narrow back then. And he went, "You're going to try a lot of drugs, but I've done all that and go for it. But I don't do LSD and don't do mushrooms and don't do any hallucinogenics because I used to do them all the time. And then one day I just took a trip and I went wild and I had to be sectioned for 6 days.
There you go.
And that scared the shit out of me. And I didn't do drugs for like, I didn't do hallucinogenics for like 25 years because of that. And now I'm very, very, very careful with them because I believe it's kind of hereditary and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've had some trips.
You
where
don't know what stuff you're susceptible to.
I've had friends who've taken LSD or shrooms, and they're different people now.
Yes.
They've had something go on in their head, and a switch has gone, and they're just different people.
Better people.
In a good,
Sometimes, yeah.
No.
in a good way or a bad way.
But not in a great way.
No.
They're different. I preferred the people before.
The thing is, I think if you're going to do the reality with psychedelics,
You need to respect it.
Yeah, you need to do it with the proper set and settings. You need to do it with the right people and the right environment where you feel safe. And, you know, some people say, I know some people, I'll do LSD and I'm going to go to Glastonbury or something. You're just seeing like loads of random,
too much.
that will blow your mind. But if you're like in a good, as my wife,
I also
we're
think
on the podcast. Do you want to say hello? Say hello
Who's
quick.
that again?
Dave McSavage.
Hi, David.
Have you ever done
Savage.
Have you ever done LSD?
All right, have fun. I'll speak to you later.
Have you ever... That's the sound of someone who's going to tell me off.
Oh, really?
Bye. Setting is vitally important.
yeah.
Well, I agree with that. My ex-missus goes up the Wicklow Mountains and does those ayahuasca things.
Well, that's DMT.
Okay, now Hannah
Yeah.
has done it about 40 times over the past few years. I mean, she's just a tough
And what
person.
does she say happens? with the
She's
ayahuasca?
had enough. She's kind of done it now, and she's you know.
And is she a better person for it?
I thought she was an amazing person anyway. So I think she needed to do that because she was going through some stuff, you know. And it's a very tough kind of thing to put yourself through. I'd be scared.
It's a very introspective drug.
Yeah, you can
Like,
shit yourself.
You like it, and I also want to say that doing it in small doses is also can be really beneficial. Like it's not like a drug where you feel terrible.
I thought you said you didn't do it, Mooch.
I've done it before, yeah.
Which one?
Shrooms.
Yeah,
Oh, are we
cool.
talking about DMT and ayahuasca?
Well, it's the same sort of like area, do you know, hallucinogenics.
I would say DMT is different to shrooms.
Have you done DMT?
No.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's different.
I do agree it's different, but I'm just saying that, you know, even if you're kind of experimenting with things, microdosing with shrooms is something that I've enjoyed doing, and it kind of like that's something that can release and broaden your creativity. You're thinking about stuff, and it's.
I find what broadens or releases creativity is just working really hard on something and staying
Oh,
focused.
don't say that, Dave.
Well, which I very occasionally have done in my life. I'm quite lazy in terms of being writing new jokes.
Yeah.
Who's the who's the most new joke writer here? Would it be Darius or Nico?
Nico, I'd say.
Nico.
The most what?
Who writes
Who
the most?
turns over the
Got a lot
most
of news.
material?
You turn out a lot of
Oh,
material.
yeah.
But it's different, you know. If you turn over shit, it's easy. But when you turn over gold like me,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
why am I going to
Yes,
phrase that?
yes, Kanye. Kanye.
Anyone who uses a projector
Yeah,
or a guitar
Yeah.
or any type of prop is not a real comedian.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That is
So
true.
No,
that's all I have to say
well,
about that.
we're all, anyone who wears a rugby
Thank you.
shirt without fucking playing rugby and things.
I play rugby. I took my son to rugby last Sunday, actually.
Yeah,
It was great.
I bet you love watching little boys play rugby. But it's a nice, fun.
But isn't
fun
that
day out.
terrible that you can't, as an adult,
watch you
stand
play
there
rugby,
as
that's
a grown man?
You
right?
can't.
Well, no. I like to. No, but you know what I mean. You know, and it's great to see young kids. They're the future. It's beautiful. That's it, right? And you know, there's no. But because of the tiny, you know, tiny amount of people, we can't do that without feeling a bit weird or people, you know.
Yeah, I was on the train and.
I mean, that's sad. I mean, it's good, obviously, if kids are protected, you know, and we need that moral.
Not everyone's a nonce, but we've all got
But we're all aware and we're all concerned.
gazed upon as nonces. I was on the train. A little girl was like, "Yes," and I was waving at her.
Yeah,
and the
right,
mum,
but gorgeous. Look,
And the
little
mum-
girl on the train.
the mum looked at me, but I had to say, "No, I've got a daughter." And then the mum was like, "Oh, that's fine." But the daughter the same age.
I've noticed this. When you have a kid, you smile at other kids because it reminds you of your kid, and then you go, "Oh, hang on, my kid's not with me. I look well creepy."
Well, I don't know. I think instantly parents can sense. You know, you look at kids. You know, like. Although
As
I'm
opposed to
saying as if I know how actual paedophiles would look at kids. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's a different look, but it's a thought pattern.
I
that
was
goes
in
through your head.
Barbados and
Kick the
I
cat.
had my kids with me, and there was me and my wife, we would put money that guy was a pedophile. This German looking guy or Austrian, he just looked that way, and you know, greased down in sun lotion, but the way he was staring over at
Budgie
our
smugglers?
kids, huh?
Wearing budgie smugglers, speedos.
Yeah.
No, but I know what
But
you
the
mean.
way he
Nico.
was
Yeah.
staring over at my kids, especially my daughter, even my wife was like, "You see that dude?" And I was like, "Yeah," and we left.
He could just be racist though as well.
No,
no.
Can't be racist
no,
in
but
Barbados.
I think
The worst
so-
holiday destination
Nico,
ever.
I think
Yeah, it
around
was-
your kids, there's an instinctive, paternal, protective.
Nah, this
around
was-
you with you, and you sensed correctly.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
one time I was in Australia. Right, I had been a street performer for a long time. That's how I know Mark Rothman, who owns the Top Secret Comedy Club. But this street performer in Sydney, I think it was, and he was a balloon animal, a balloon. He did a balloon act. You know, he blows balloons and gives them to kids. And you know, after he saw I had kids, and he's like, "Mate, yeah, big fat guy," and he says, "Yeah, if you ever need anybody to babysit your baby," I like this song, and the way he's just kind of did it like that, and it gave me fucking
Do
shivers.
it to the camera so they can see you at the
No,
face.
I'm just trying to. Yeah, right. Hi. Yeah, and he's one of these balloon animals, and he's on the street, and he says, "Yeah, mate, sorry. If ever you need anybody to babysit your kids, your baby, or anything." You know, he just had this fucking weird look, and it gave
Pedo
me shivers.
vibes.
It gave me shivers, and I'm just thought, back in the 70s, you wouldn't have given it a second's thought.
You
Because
didn't.
everybody babysitted everybody's kids, and you'd hold babies, and there'd be no problem. and
nothing ever happened.
and nothing
in
ever.
the 70s.
No. But what I'm saying is, the majority of the time, nothing ever.
Yeah.
But the fact that the atmosphere is like that now, if it saves any kid from being molested, it's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like growing up in, I remember like in Barbados, you would get on the bus, and if someone had a baby, they would give the baby to the person sitting. That's insane.
What?
Like if you got on a bus in Barbados back in the day, in the 80s, 90s, and that person had a baby, sometimes the person, rather than giving the seat, they would give the baby to the person who's sitting
hold
down
it.
to hold.
And people would
That's
just hold the
and
baby.
just hold the baby, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
fucking insane.
but in a way, we do miss something
Yeah.
from.
I mean, that
from
isn't quite a nice thing.
It is quite a nice thing. Yeah, it is beautiful.
There's definitely an element of, you need a village to raise a child, and then, but now the village are all scared that everyone else is just a nonce. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like there's a
Nonce
bit-
means paedophile.
Yeah. It's a bit more standoffish, and people are a lot more protective over their kids, and also.
Well, I think everybody. Yeah, I don't want you. So it's all a bit like that. So I wonder how that does affect people in the future. Are people a bit more standoffish? We're not as intimate with each other.
But that's the whole point of the education system and feminism and all that, is to destroy culture and everything like that, and the passing on of traditions.
Huh?
We're going to need you to expand on that theory, Nico.
I fucking agree with you.
You're going to have to expand that theory.
No, what it is what's happening in today's society. As he spoke about, it takes a village to raise a child, and that village, what you have is called what you need for healthy children is attachment, and that attachment is normally with the adults who look after them. But modern society has decimated and torn that attachment apart. So now the attachment that kids have is to their peers, because the moms who used to be the conduit for culture and behavior is now in the workplace, right? So now the kid turns from looking up to the mom and dad, the kid now turns their attention to their peers, and that's where they get how they're socialized. And that's why you see the breakdown in back in the day. We used to have respect your elders, and you would you would turn to adults, and there was some sort of reverence or deferment to adults. But now that is no longer the case. Like back in the day, if kids were kicking off, any adult could have said something to them and, yo, shut up and behave yourself or whatnot. Or they would be frowned upon for their behavior because the adults would go back and tell their parents, and then the parents would deal with them. But all that cohesive family structure is gone now because, how things are in the modern world.
Well,
So-
are you blaming it on the fact that women are working? Is that because I feel the feminists in my head screaming at me?
I'm not. I'm saying that feminism comes with good and bad.
Okay.
I'm saying that link of having the mother being the nurturer and being now is coming from education systems where the
I don't think
child goes.
It's also not just education; it's social media and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
People
yeah,
are
right.
learning things on TikTok.
Right,
and
yeah.
Instagram.
But going into the schools now, you're getting ideologies pumped out from the schools that the parents don't necessarily agree with. Whatever ideologies and whatnot are, the kids are being bombarded with.
That's an
So
interesting
now-
point. I thought about that as well. When because you just hand over your kids to
the state to
school.
be indoctrinated.
And I never really, when Jack and Daniel were going to secondary school, I mean, God forgive me, I never really, I mean, I didn't know what the teachers were like, what their
Saying
values
what-
were.
yeah,
what the
exactly.
And you're almost giving, you're handing over
Yeah.
their childhood really
whole
to
child-
people you don't know. I mean, irrespective
And-
of whatever the social mores or whatever's happening, it's an
It's
interesting.
an
one.
insane thing to do.
So do you think? Sorry, are you saying that?
So, wait, but hang on, and that's why you get people are complaining in the States about. I am on the side of the conservatives about with some of the things they want to teach in the schools, they don't want in there, and for some of it, I'm like, yeah, that should not be taught in schools. Why are you?
What should not be taught in school?
No, some of the
There's been things
stuff
like,
that,
you know, there's religious people have like opinions on what should and shouldn't be taught, you know.
Yeah,
it's
some
been going on for
things-
years. Sex education was a big thing when who should teach that when that was being introduced into schools. I remember when
yeah,
I was
even they're putting it lower and lower and lower, and some of the kids don't need to know these things at 5, 6, 7 years old. Maybe when 9, 10, yeah, but
I would
some of the
suggest,
stuff, no.
here's the thing, right?
But-
I lived in Denmark for 6 years,
Do you
right?
speak Danish?
Nej, jeg snabber dansk.
Sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, but that's the most progressive country I've been to, and you know everything goes back into the infrastructure, and it's everything, you know. And I think if you judge a country by how they look after people who are sick or unwell, or you know, that's a really great country. And they're so relaxed around sex stuff, and you know, and it's the most equality I've ever seen as well.
But aren't
So-
they all white? It's like equality, but amongst all the white people.
When I'm talking about men and women, oh well, yeah. I mean, the Danish people ethnically are white.
Racist.
and
But I'm just saying, if you
It
want
don't-
if you want a good
don't-
model for society, that's a good model to
I don't know.
Did they-
no
No.
Scandinavian.
One of
model?
them Scandinavian countries, one of them, I can't remember if it's Norway or Denmark, have an extremely high suicide rate. It's
think that's
probably
to do with
Norway.
sunlight.
It's
I think
Finland.
it's Norway.
I think it's Finland.
Well,
no,
do you
it's
think?
Norway
Do you think?
because,
Yeah,
I've
because
performed in Norway a few times, and the guys always used to make
Because-
suicide jokes.
because we need adversity. Because if the government intervene, and you know, if you
Yes.
can't fall below a certain point, and so we need to have the opportunity
you need
to fail.
to struggle. Yeah, you need to struggle in your life.
That's why I haven't killed myself.
But no,
And me. I'm still alive.
yeah.
'Cause we're
But no, we have that whole thing of a village raising a kid. That's gone now, and the respect for the elders and all that sort of stuff is gone.
Well, aren't we sounding like every generation, subsequent generation? They all
Well,
say
Yeah,
that?
okay.
but-
I mean,
allow
I think
me-
in ancient Greece, you probably would have
Yeah,
heard
but
that.
no. But yes, you hear certain things, but you can look if you go and look at the murder or the violence rates of countries, and across, especially Western countries, I would tell you 100% that majority of them have increased.
Well,
Especially like even if you look at my country in Barbados, like we never one murder back in the 80s, 90s used to be a big fucking thing, right? And now we're getting like 6 murders a month.
So a side effect of the, in quotes, moral panic around all that, you know, is that it's almost like we don't know how to interact with kids. We sort of back off, and we don't give them.
One of the conspiracy theories is that they want the state to bring up the kids so that the kids will be, you know, model citizens for the state when they grow up. So that's why they're trying to say, so they're pushing, for example, in America, they're saying, they're pushing trans ideology and children can self-identify. But then if the parents don't say, agree with the kid, they misgender the kid, the state can take the child away. Then the state have a child that they can mold into whatever they want.
Do you know what's so interesting about the identity stuff?
No.
I genuinely, honestly identify. When I was growing up, I identified. If I'm honest, I've talked about this on stage. I behaved like I didn't exist. I identify as not existing, which is a crazy thing to say. But I didn't care whether people thought I was an asshole or whether people liked me, as long as they acknowledged that I existed. And so I just...
So you didn't want to exist?
No.
What were your
I
pronouns?
behaved. So if I was in a social situation, and the attention wasn't on me, or people were talking, I'd have to say something or do something just to get the attention on me. So if you were observing, you would think that guy's behaving like he's fucking invisible. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just trying to say that if we.
So you wanted to be seen.
I wanted to be seen, but I felt I wasn't seen. You know, which is one of the main reasons I became a stand-up comedian, just desperation for attention. So I'm just trying to say, like, if you want to get really specific and what's the word, microscopic, or, you know,
Didactic.
is it, you know, like I behaved like I didn't exist. I'm not like that now, but I don't know if there's a gender. Is that a gender? Is it not
I
existing?
don't think that's a gender. That's more of a spectral sense of being.
but I think if you give it a label, people will also identify that.
What?
I love the
Darius
confidence
trying
that you have there. I love
Talking
it.
absolute
Yeah, no, but I love it. But
What? That's
It's the
right.
socioeconomic.
Yeah,
spectral sense of
that
being.
makes sense. Spectral.
Yeah, spectral sense of being.
just out of interest, I don't know if.
No, but I mean, so people talk about identity. I guess, in a way, if you do look at everything's a
Of or like a ghost.
social construct.
Spectral
Everything is and so,
what did you say? A spectral what?
A spectral sense of being. He felt like a spectre.
I thought it made sense.
It makes perfect sense. It's, unfortunately, I didn't go to Northumberland University.
So what do you using the identity politics model?
but hold
How
on.
would you apply? Like, how do you identify? Who are you at your core, man? Is that what identity politics is?
Well, listen. I'm me. He. Him.
You're a me he.
I'm me. He. Listen. I like being a guy, right? I enjoy having.
And what
a
does
dick.
being? I guess is that what they're getting obsessed because they're talking about roles and they want to break out of
This is what for me being a man means. Yeah, obviously having.
being not that friendly with other comedians. Okay, go
Yeah,
on.
having a penis, and large one as well.
Right. That's being a man.
Yeah.
Having a large penis.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
How large?
Well, so that you go into the shower and other people are intimidated by your sheer size,
Girth.
your
sheer
girth, your
girth.
length.
Yeah.
But
The
no,
meatiness.
I think being a man means, for me, it means I've obviously got a massively toxic sense of masculinity, what a man is, but it should be someone who's muscular, can protect.
But when that man
Provide.
when that man punched you in your face.
Yeah. But then
Why
that's what you need the police
So if
for.
you So wait a second.
It's called policeman.
Darius,
No, but you can listen.
Come on,
No,
let's-
but wait, hold on. Being a
Should
man
you-
doesn't
should you not
doesn't mean no,
been
hold
able
on.
to,
Doesn't
like,
mean
Well, he's a
neutralize
man
him.
then.
Hold on,
I'm
being
not a man.
hold on.
if
Being
he's
a man doesn't mean I've got to be the biggest and toughest in the room. That's not what being a man is. But being a man for me means being tough and certain in your own principles, and you're as strong as you can be.
But
within
it's not a
yourself.
woman as well.
Yeah, but you got a vagina. I mean, that is the crucial. That is the crucial difference. I started this with you got to have a penis. Right? That was the crucial.
What would you be? How would you feel if you had a vagina?
I tell you,
Well,
I
if
like being. That's why people who transition, I got respect for them because I would hate to, man, think the levels they've got to go through. They want to take all these hormones, feminize themselves, go through all of that arduous process. I mean, and then ultimately chop their dick off. That's fucking. That's,
A lot of effort.
Someone wants to do that.
It's a lot.
It's more than effort, man. Imagine you woke up and you didn't have a dick. You'd feel like, and you knew you were a man. Would you want to live without
Okay,
your
wait
dick?
a second. Imagine that then. Let's just come.
I don't think-
Dariana.
But okay,
Okay, look down there.
I've got a
You've
better
got-
hypothesis
you'd just
for you.
be- you'd
Would
be
you
just
like
like
to
that.
live?
Shit, where's my-
Hold on. Would you like to live without your dick? Right. So you're not gonna say this isn't a sex thing. Just you don't have your dick.
Well, let me put.
But there's
let
some
me-
men out there whose penises don't work.
I'm not talking about if it works. Just not having. You wake up and you don't.
So
have
how
a
you
dick.
gonna pee?
You pee out of your urethra. There's like a hole for you to pee out.
Oh,
and
so that you can still
you can
urinate and
still
stuff,
urinate
yeah.
nothing, but you literally have no penis. You know how bad you'd feel. Well, I would feel awful.
But you could say that for any part of your body.
When's the longest
Worst
time you've
work.
gone without masturbating?
You could say that about
How long's
your-
this pod been going?
31 days,
Right.
40 days. I
How
was like Jesus
how
in the
come you did
desert.
that?
I was Lent.
What?
For Lent. I thought Jesus would respect me if I went in the desert of non-masturbations for 40 days and 40 nights.
That's great.
Anyway,
I haven't masturbated in a year,
Well, what?
over a year.
But you're having relations.
I have had penetrative sex.
What was his name?
But I don't know. Like I
was
mean,
a he, him.
it's funny. It's funny that's the pinnacle of where the conflict or whatever is, all that stuff that you're talking about. I mean, there's so much. I just wouldn't go near any of that. Like I see Graham Linehan.
So yesterday at Top Secret, you came to me and said, I saw you introduced Graham Linehan because I did the roast of Count Dankula and Graham Linehan did a video apology. So I brought him into it. And then we were discussing it, which actually I wanted to ask you about because it's kind of interesting that you said, I wouldn't...
Wouldn't go near it.
Yeah.
Because I remember talking to the guys on trigonometry.
Constantine and Francis.
Constantine and Francis. And Constantine's, because I was thinking about doing a podcast, and I was asking about the contentious areas of, which, what are they?
That we can and can't talk about.
Yeah, or that if you do, it's problematic.
Well, there's
Trans issues is the main one.
Okay, trans issues.
And whatever Kanye's talking about.
Or whatever's going. But he said to me in the same way. I remember once seeing a guy who'd run the marathon, and he just finished the marathon, and I was talking to him, and he looked at me and he said, and he spoke from a place of authenticity. He said, talking about running a marathon, never do this. And I thought I listened to him, and Constantine said the same thing. He said it in a way like, unless you're like have a PhD and you're really up on, all the information required to bring a reasoned argument, or don't go near it. The whole trans thing, and that's the way I feel about it. Like, and I see people. I just wouldn't. It's so dangerous.
Do you know?
I mean,
Graham?
certainly as.
But this is the problem, right?
But I do know Graham. But he looks harried. He looks worried. He looks, and he's a very smart guy. He's a very talented guy. But he just looks like he's almost he's like given over his life to this area, and I don't know.
It's one of those things where it's what you're just going to be remembered for, and it's kind of like, it seems like this is what you're like. It's the same with J.K. Rowling. Do you know what I mean? So like, no matter what you do, there's always going to be this element, or this is what you're going to be sort of viewed as because of that.
Remember I talked about Denmark? I think with the Danish sensibility, they're not like, if you present or you want to be called this, they kind of just let you off and let you do what it's just more accommodating for people who want to. I mean, it's not. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, I noticed in Scandinavia and Denmark, you could say weird shit, and they'd be
cool with it.
They'd be cool with it. It's like, well, that's what you were saying. That's what you. I mean, I know who I am. I know what my values are. Off you get, no problem. I mean, you could walk around Copenhagen with a banana up your fucking hole. It's his banana. It's his hole. They just let you at it. Whereas in Ireland, they'd be like, how dare you? You can't say this. You can't do that. Like, I mean, who gives a shit?
No, hang on. No, you can't look at it like that.
Okay.
Just the same way you're worried about youth being influenced by Darius and his drug taking.
No.
There would be people.
My drug dealing.
Yeah, or whatever it is. There will be people who are worried about that man walking around with whatever up his bum influencing kids, because then when kids put something up their bum, it might slide up in their bum, or they might damage their bum or whatever. So therefore,
well, the Scandinavians
you have
well, Dave, what do you have to say now?
Well, they wouldn't care.
So influence happens.
Sometimes you need to have a banana slide up your bum to know that you shouldn't be doing that.
Well, sometimes you need to take DMT.
Sometimes you need to take DMT. Yeah. Well, having a banana up your bum isn't as dangerous.
Maybe it'll bring you as close to God. Who knows?
I'm just sorry. All I'm saying is I'm not qualified.
What was Graham Linehan like before he was?
I was not qualified to get into all those issues of trans.
No, but here,
I'm not qualified in the history of it, and how it's got to where it's got.
That's a sensible position to take.
No, it's not. Because everybody should be able to discuss every topic and have an opinion on it. To say, oh, you're not.
Second. Do you ever talk about trans stuff on?
I did a trans joke last night on stage.
What was it?
I go, if you're a man who wants to transition to a woman, go ahead, do that stuff. If you're a woman who wants to transition to a man, go ahead, do it. Just don't get a bigger dick than me, because I was here. Living with a
yeah. Well, that's fairly innocent, isn't it?
Yeah. So that goes back to my thing of what being a man means—a large penis. So it all comes down to that.
Right. So it's just like, and I say that's not transphobia. That's insecurity. That's my insecurity, because I don't want anyone to have a bigger dick than I do. And that goes for animals.
Fuck that whale. And I know what you're trying to say. It's kind of like...
I guess I'm scared is what it is. I don't want to... And that's the problem. And I think that's what these guys are...
No. The problem is the fear and the stuff and the censorship and the stuff around it. Your fear comes...
Nico
everybody,
looks like a Hamburglar.
everybody should be able to discuss and have an opinion on any topic.
Without being demonized.
Without being in fear of losing their job or anything, or losing, opportunities or the public reputation. Everybody should be able to have, as long as it's not inciting violence, you should be able to have an opinion and say, well, I think da-da-da.
Well, that's definitely not how it is.
But I know it's not how it is, and that's the problem with society. And it's the same, and it goes to what some of the things. And again, I don't agree with what Kanye is saying, but if he said those things in a more palatable manner, people should be able to discuss those things without him. If he had said them, I'm saying
replace Jewish with the word black. Black people instead of Jewish people.
And then some people say replace Jewish with the word white, and he would have got away with it. So everybody has an opinion on things, and you should be able to discuss it. I'm not saying ban straight up. Ban everybody whoever says or tries to discuss it. Let's have the discussion. Don't just shut down every single thing.
I completely agree. We don't live in that
as
world.
As long as it doesn't incite.
I totally agree with you, and that's what I love about Speaker's Corner. You go there. I mean, it's like seeing freedom of speech in action.
Oh, we should do a 3 Speakers Corner special.
It is amazing though. But it is amazing. But I think, like most well-adjusted adults, they listen to what Kanye West says, and they have the wisdom to know what's happening. But it's almost like we're protecting, I don't know, either really stupid people or people who take.
I think it's more. I think the pressure when it comes to especially the trans issue and the ideology issue. The level of like fear that people have of even you say the word trans in a comedy club and the whole place. Even Andrea last night.
That's right.
Andrea last night and tried to do a trans. As soon as she said trans, the whole room there was a deathly silence. There was just.
Yeah, the oxygen gets sucked out.
And then she had. It is crazy, and that level of fear with any topic. It's not a good thing for society, whether it be what the trans issue or what Kanye is saying or whatever. And again, I don't agree with what Kanye is saying, but you should be able to discuss things and, rather than just completely say, no, we're never going to talk about this topic.
What exactly? So he had some bad experiences with businessmen
I can
who
play
ripped
the
him
clip.
off, who were incidentally.
Let's watch the clip.
The thing about the red hat that drove me to a point of exhaustion, which was misdiagnosed by I'm not going to say what race, what people, doctor, and what hospital, and what media went to. We know I can't say that. It was a Jewish doctor.
It's just the way he puts.
He pauses.
It was a Jewish doctor.
Well, I think he looks like he has bipolar, right?
Well, that's what the Jewish doctor diagnosed him with. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. But you see, look, can I just say...
Hold on a second.
It's kind of like...
How did this whole Kanye thing kick off? Like, why is he suddenly, like, within, like, a month... what was the first thing?
So what happened, what kicked it off was the DEF CON. He made a tweet saying he's about to go DEF CON 3 on... Jewish people or something like that.
But why did he do that?
But the reason he said that is, it seems from before, he has a problem with the contracts. He's saying the contracts that artists sign and some sports people sign, they're all exploitative, and these businessmen exploit the artists and they take too much money. But
we know that it's got nothing to do with the fact that those people who are exploiting him, it's nothing to do with the fact that they're Jewish. It's got to do with those individuals who are corrupt, and that's the
right.
You can't. Obviously, we know that as
and it just so happens to Kanye that all of his contracts that he has a problem with, for him, the common denominator is that he's not allowed to say what they are
They're Jewish
according
doctors.
according to Kanye, they happen to be Jewish. These people who have put these.
Okay, let me put that into context. And
So
shoehorn-
that's why he went on these rants and he said those things.
Yeah, but he said as if all Jewish people are like that. For instance, let me put it into context. When I came over to London, I was 21, I think, and I got arrested for driving in the embankment without license or insurance, and I got held overnight in a cell.
Wait a minute, when you were 21, how did they actually had to stop you and check your license then?
Yeah, it was during the time of the IRA bombings, and they were suggesting that I was, a part of whatever. Anyway, I had an awful time. And people were, oh, fucking paddy wanker coming over here and all that. But I had a few bad experiences with certain people from Great Britain, and I left, but in my head I said, I fucking hate the British. But I hadn't met all the British, and a lot of British people are the best people you'll ever meet in your life. But there are individuals. So there are individuals amongst the communities all over the world who are corrupt and what. But it's
so you hate British people.
What I'm saying is a ridiculous thing to say. You have a bad experience.
It's like it's like what Liam Neeson did with that black guy. Some black guy had done whatever, and then Liam Neeson said he went around looking for any black guy to smash up. So it's that same.
So I think a mixture of I think.
But there are bad people in every race, and that's what we got to realize.
A mixture of having his bipolar, and also no. But hang on a second. Also, what's his name? Kanye. He's a genius in his music area, but
not just music, but continue.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Michael Jackson didn't like Jewish people either. He sang about them in a song.
What I'm saying is, a lot of
they had to issue an apology.
What song is
that? I think he says something called "Kike Me" or something. Is one of the lyrics. It's quite
Michael
famous.
Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson went on in a big song. I don't want to say is that. To Google which Michael Jackson song it was.
I'm doing it. Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
No, you grand. No,
I've just interrupted you. No, you were on a
Profound.
round.
No, profound.
He had an anti-Semitic phone rant.
No, but yeah, one of his songs was anti-Semitic as well.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Turns
out musical genius.
Pull it up.
Well, Michael Jackson, this is from J-Post, calls Jews leeches on this one. Jackson heard using anti-Semitic language in a voice message. Oh, so he had a voice message.
But what's the song, though? I'll find out.
There were no voice message phones in his day.
I mean, yeah, there were. I mean, this is like when he was in like this. This is Michael Jackson. So this is 2005.
You had voice messages back then?
America had voice.
They don't care about
voicemail.
us. The song is. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
Oh, is that about Jewish people?
Yeah, one of the lyrics I'll read is the following. Critical response. One of the lyrics was something like "kick me, kike me, don't you black and white me," as in don't. And what he meant by that is take. Oh, here it is. Lyric dispute in context. The publication highlighted the lyrics: "Jew me, sue me, everybody do me, kick me, kike me, don't you black and white me." Jackson responded directly to the publication saying, "I'm not a nonce, nor do I have any particular hatred towards Jewish people." But yeah, Michael Jackson, did you know that song? They don't really care.
Yeah, I know the song. It's
a
great song.
I never really thought about who they were.
Here it is. Oh, no. Okay, well, anyway, so he says that. He actually said, "The idea that these lyrics could be deemed objectionable is extremely hurtful to me and misleading. The song is in fact about the pain of prejudice and hate in a way to draw attention to social and political problems. I am the voice of the accused and the attacked. I am the voice of everyone. I am the skinhead. I am the Jew. I am the black man. I am the white man. I am not the one who was attacking. It is about the injustices to young people and how the system can wrongly accuse them. I'm angry and outraged that I could be so misinterpreted." Sounds like you, Dave. You were the young man who was wrongly accused on fucking embankment driving a Ford Fiesta without insurance and or driving license.
Yeah. Anyway, I think
it sounds like
I think you can see in his
correctly.
eyes, Kanye West's eyes, that he's not
Altogether
He's
there.
not. He's on one. So he looks like he's in a psychotic episode a bit.
There's
Don't you feel that a little bit with
100%.
Kanye when he's talking?
I mean, sometimes I know
Doesn't
what
look very
is
grounded.
to be slightly manic, but I don't think you can necessarily blame that state that he is on. As some people say,
That's when the truth
they know.
comes out.
No. There's some people who say they're manic people who still don't say those crazy things.
Well.
So-
I remember hearing about the artist Jackson Pollock. You know, that he had some connection to the universal through his paintings, but the rest of his life was a fucking disaster. So I'm saying that Kanye West, in certain areas, he's a genius and he's brilliant, but when he veers into politics, he's not a professional politician, and he thinks that somehow
It
it translates his genius.
No, hang on.
No?
Hang on. He's not just a music genius, first off.
Trainer.
So hang on. He's a fashion genius. He's
Okay.
an audio genius in terms of sounds, soundscapes, and all that kind of stuff. You don't become a billionaire without having some sort of business acumen. He is or was, one of the richest black men in America. You don't become... There are people who have artistic and creative genius, but it never translates into the financial. You get what I'm saying? So he is some sort of a business genius as well. It clearly isn't.
But maybe not in the political arena.
No.
Because if he was, he wouldn't say stuff
No.
like that.
But he got to that point. Now he's having breakdowns and he's frustrated and whatnot. But I'm saying he has kind of destroyed his legacy 100%. But those things that he's feeling, he felt it was so important to get off his chest that it led to this. So he might be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna say how I truly feel, and it doesn't matter if what he's feeling is actually true or whatnot. But from his perspective, he's like, this is how I'm being fucked over, and I don't care anymore about the money and all this, and these contracts are unfair, and I have been wronged by these people. So I'm just gonna go.
But those people, it's not.
I'm saying that's his thinking. He's saying these are the people, and it just so happens that the common denominator for him. I'm saying from his perspective, his misguided perspective. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna tell everybody about who is screwing me over or who he thinks is screwing him over, and I don't care about my empire anymore. I'm just gonna be like balls out and get this off my chest. That might be, and that coupled with the mental state he's in, the paranoia and all that, led to all of this. And I'm not saying that he's right or anything, but I'm saying from his perspective, he probably felt so aggrieved and stuff that he's like, you know what? I don't care about my legacy anymore. I don't care about this. These contracts are fucking horrendous and they're screwing artists and me over. I'm just going to go balls out. And that's
what you're saying.
Hence the tweet, I'm going DEFCON. So he thinks they're persecuting him and he's prone to paranoia and all these things because of the mental health issues, and it caused this cocktail of destruction.
Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah.
I think I agree. I think it's kind of it's almost like there's parallels with how Extinction Rebellion or Just Stop Oil. Like there's certain ways that you sort of broach topics. Kim Kardashian, she's kind of she's fought for the freeing of people who were wrongly committed into imprisoned, and she's gone about it in a different way. And he may be feeling aggrieved, and you may be feeling attacked, and he may be feeling that there is injustices in contracts but he's gone about it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
He's kind of he's exploded, and it's now kind of no one's listening to him. They're just talking about his madness rather than the actual issue.
Yeah. So the issue that he had, coupled with his mental volatile mental state, caused all of this craziness.
And there's lots of people who are incidentally are Jewish, who are not into business and aren't good. There's it's like.
Yeah, there's
100%. For him,
stereotypes aren't real.
But we know that most people, when they listen to that, they don't take it seriously. They see that the guy's obviously in the throes of a psychosis and stuff like that. But it's interesting when you see people who are brilliant in areas and then they try to step into another area. And like, for instance, Sinead O'Connor, who had this connection to the Universal, this genius singer. and then she ripped up a picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live, and she wasn't prepared for the backlash. If she was a professional politician, if somebody like Nigel Farage seems to be kind of, you could say anything to that guy and he can kind of handle it. He's not bothered by it.
What happened to her when she did that?
She was you know, at that time, I suppose, you know, there was such a reaction from the
But
Catholic
she was
Church.
Catholic, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She's Muslim now, but she was a...
But this was before all the clerical sex abuse stuff came out, and people were, so it sent
Still
her into a
enthralled.
tailspin. I think it kind of killed her career temporarily. But like she had big fucking balls to do that. But like, you know, she didn't realize the kind of reaction. She wasn't prepared for it. So what I'm saying is, like, these guys, and I don't know who's around people like Kanye West. Like,
I do find him entertaining, but I just wish, someone would check his tweets and Instagram posts before he sent them out. He should have a social media manager or someone.
Could you
who's
imagine
like,
being Kanye's social media manager and trying to go, I'm not sure, maybe do DEFCON, not DEFCON. Maybe we'll tweet something else out.
But you can imagine the mindset. We don't know what it's like to be that successful. Can you imagine you sing a song and you get this incredible success, and you're so lauded by people, and they're just dying to see. So you just think it translates into everything. You think you can just say something, and people are going.
It's like Steven Gerrard thinking he can just become a football manager. No, now you've lost your job at Aston Villa.
Exactly.
No, but the thing is, he did it, David.
Did what?
He did translate into other things.
Yeah, but not into politics. He's talking about politics.
He's not in politics.
But that's what
he's
Dave's
just
exactly saying.
I'm saying he's not. He's just voicing an opinion. He's not saying.
But in an area that he's not an expert in.
No, he's just like how he releases opinions. He's just releasing an opinion about who wronged him. So it's not like he was trying to shift into something else.
But it is surprising
really.
that somebody wouldn't have checked him and said, well, wait a second. The fact that you got ripped off by those people, it's nothing to do with the fact that they're Jewish. Don't say that. I'm surprised that nobody said that to him.
Do you think all these people interview him subsequently, i.e. Piers Morgan,
Lex
Friedman, etc., are exploiting him?
I think so, yeah.
Especially
it's a really good point.
if he looks like he's going for it. I think the consensus is, this guy's going for an episode.
Let's
interview him and make him say, deliberately provoke him to say this inflammatory
That's why I
shit.
think he can come back from that.
Maybe.
Well, I think also, I think there's a lot of people who don't care enough about it.
I
follow it.
I would love him to get well and take some time off and heal and whatnot and come back and release his own shoes and his own fashion line and it become incredibly successful. That's what I would like for him. And
would you be buying a pair of those shoes?
If he were to come out with, take some time off and whatnot, and come back.
No, but hang on a second.
I would come. Yeah, I would support him
because the shoes. Would you wear them though?
What?
The Yeezys.
Even if they look like Air Force
They look like. They're worse than Air Force Ones.
No,
what, those Croc ones?
They look cool.
Here, I'm going to show you a pair of shoes, guys. I bought them yesterday. These are Chini. Oh shit!
Look at that. That's a man at 56 who still has sex.
That's a solid shoe.
That's a man who's
Chinis.
Look at that.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
What are they? What are those shoes called?
Brogues.
Yeah.
Did you said the name?
420 euro.
Woo! What? That's money, baby.
Joseph Chini.
These
are Goodyear welted Northamptonshire. This is what Britain.
It's capable of.
But
God save our gracious King.
But the style is brogue.
I don't know.
I think you call them brogues.
I think that's a Chelsea boot, technically.
No, Chelsea boot is the one that is. You see the.
I'll tell you someone who would never wear those boots.
Can I just show
those
you?
Are brogue
can I
boots,
just give us a moment here?
Yes.
I think NICO reveals what a genuinely decent, empathetic, good dude he is. He wants to, this idea of
deeply
as opposed to
anti-Semitic.
you, this idea of instantaneous cancel. Even the term, it's so inhuman. You cancel a fucking appointment. You cancel a train journey. What does cancelling a human being? It's kind of quite psychopathic. It's like socially murdering people. Like there's a mean-spiritedness to, if I think I've more knowledge about a subject and I'm more advanced and ahead of you, it doesn't mean that I want to, fucking never talk to this guy because he's not where I am. Just be a bit empathy, just, isn't it?
Welcome to 2022.
Well, no, but come on, so let's give it that. So, a bit of, as regards, what's his name? Kanye West, he's obviously going through some. We don't have to just take a break, get well, all that, and come out and say, listen, I fucked up. What I meant to say was.
Well, okay, I got a question. I'll tell you someone who won't be wearing Joseph Cheney boots. Nancy Pelosi's husband, as he fights off a hammer attack from a naked man in the house. Did you guys see this story this week?
Oh, yeah.
I saw glimpses of it.
So Nancy Pelosi's husband, Nancy Pelosi, just so we're all aware of their case, is the third in line to the president. You'd suspect she had a lot of security at her house, but there was no security there. There's a phone call. The police were called and they found Nancy Pelosi's husband being attacked they were let in by a man, someone else, but when they were let in, they saw Nancy Pelosi, husband, and another man fighting over a hammer. The other guy hit Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer. The door was smashed, and they're saying this was a guy who was trying to, right-wing extremist, trying to, stifle and scare Democratic nominees before the election. What they're not saying, and what I am not saying categorically, I'm not saying that Nancy Pelosi's husband was having a gay affair that went wrong. I'm not saying this. And the guy tried to escape from the sex dungeon in Nancy Pelosi's house. Again, I'm not saying this. Smashed the door so the glass is on the outside instead of the inside, which it would be if someone was breaking in and they were breaking out. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that the San Francisco Police Department who reported on this then changed the story the next day to say, no, actually someone didn't open the door to them. I'm not saying that this was a gay love affair that went wrong and the guy was trying to escape, and that the guy happens to live in a commune flying Black Lives Matters flags, LGBTQ flag. So I'm not saying that, but that was the story.
Why would you not...
because that's a conspiracy theory, and we don't peddle in conspiracy theories.
Okay.
But Tucker Carlson said it, basically.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
But
a clip of Tucker Carlson going, listen, this guy is, he lives in Portland. He's got the BLM outside his trailer, the gay pride flag, and he's been, at these different rallies in support of democratic issues or whatever.
But he's a right-wing extremist Republican.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very interesting story. Anyway.
No, it's interesting, but then it's also when stories like this break, there's just so much noise from either side.
Oh, but the story I gave you is from the San Francisco Police Department.
So that he was Nancy Pelosi's husband's
and
lover.
So you're saying it's a false flag?
Yes. No, I'm saying that Nancy Pelosi's husband did not have a gay affair and a sex dungeon and the guy wasn't trying to escape from the sex dungeon.
You're saying that's not what happened?
That is what happened, what happened.
So I'm confused.
The media want it to look like a Republican attack.
Yeah, so it's like, but you're saying you're not saying it's a false flag.
What?
It's
We've confused Dave McSavage now.
Saying that, I can't be asked.
Yeah, I can't. But maybe it's a boring topic.
I'm not sure if false flag works in that situation.
Yeah, it is because they're saying, okay, cool. Look, they're saying it's an attack that's happened. That didn't really happen, but someone's saying, I'm not saying it's Darius, but someone.
Not me.
No, the media want to report it as
an attack, a terrorism attack on a politician, and it may not be that.
And how is Nancy Pelosi's husband? Was he badly hurt or?
Yeah, apparently.
In his bum.
But the police were there. He got hammered twice. Yeah. The police were there to watch the guy hit him with a hammer. What? But does that make sense? Why would the police, if they're there and the guy's got a hammer in his hand, why would they not already taser him? Why would they not shoot him? Why would they wait for him to go and hit Nancy Pelosi's husband? I mean, surely that sounds the kind of thing that would happen if there was like a domestic abuse thing. You're there and then you're not ready for it. Just obviously that didn't happen. What did happen was a guy broke in, even though the glass was on the outside.
I saw that picture, and it did look a bit dodgy, the glass on the outside, but I didn't really pay much attention to the story.
Memory hold, baby.
Memory hold. Should we?
This has been quite a heavy. Can we? This has been a heavy podcast. Why don't we end in?
Dave looks traumatized.
Well, no, I don't. No, it's just Nancy Pelosi. I'm not really familiar with her, and I don't. And then there's this alleged that Nancy Pelosi's husband is having an affair with a man.
Well, no, we didn't say that. You've said
and then,
that.
And then he
I mean,
arrives.
You kind of said it.
You've said it.
And maybe they made promises. No, I'll leave, Nancy. I love you. And then he arrives with a hammer, saying, "You lied to me."
Well, apparently what happened was
I like
he was
that
cruising. Well, this is what happened. Did not happen. Nancy Pelosi's husband did not go to downtown San Francisco, cruise
Nico, get out
around,
of this shot.
pick up a dude, bring him back to a sex dungeon in the Pelosi residence. This did not happen. And the guy tried to escape after being bled dry for adrenochrome and then had to escape by smashing the thing.
What is adrenochrome?
Oh, you don't know what adrenochrome is?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
Adrenochrome is...
Should we do this for the Patreon?
All right, we'll talk about adrenochrome on the Patreon podcast, but before we go, let's just end on something nice.
Hunter S. Thompson talk about adrenochrome.
Hunter
does.
Biden did.
It does talk about
Yeah,
adrenochrome.
yeah.
Before you go, let's ask Dave what are your 3 best moments in comedy, or tell us some funny comedy stories, because we've been talking about...
We got very serious and it
it's
kind of
too
went a bit.
serious.
Yeah.
And what I like best about our serious and earnestness of this podcast is absolutely none of us knew what we were talking about.
Yeah.
That's complete dog shit for an hour. We were like, the fuck are they talking about?
See, that's the thing. That's what it feels like. We're all one sentence away from being cancelled or fucking our careers up or something. You know what I mean?
Gotta have a career to get fucked.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're not successful enough really to be cancelled. Thank God.
In a way, we're free.
It's quite profound.
Okay. Oh yes. So what were you saying about 3? Huh?
Tell us some funny stories or something. End on a high, Dave. End on a high. Take us home, baby. Take us home.
Take this ship back
Before we go, though, I want to give you your flowers. I think you do comedy the right way.
Oh, thank you very much.
I also
Nico.
want to
think
give you flowers.
I look up to you as an inspiration.
Wow, Jesus Christ,
So
Nico.
when people ask me who are the 3 favorite people that I work with or have gotten a chance to work with, you're always number 1.
Jesus
who's
Christ.
2 and
So I
3?
appreciate you.
Can't you? Wow, that's very.
Wait, shut up, Dave. Who's 2 and 3?
Let the man have his.
I can get that. I'm interested in who your other 2 and 3 are.
Such an asshole. You wouldn't give me
Shut
a
up, David.
moment.
Get it in
No,
one
no, but
second.
I mean,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just give us a chance.
I'm gonna give it
Darius,
to
you've
him.
got everything. You've got the youth. You've got
Yeah,
the this.
you've got a
you've got
youth,
the,
you can a
you know what I
strong
mean?
brain,
Strong-
that can take drugs.
Yeah, who are the?
I'm going to give Dave his...
no.
I don't want to know the other 2 of your top 3.
But Dave is number 1 because
Dave is number 1.
I believe you do comedy. You should be taking risks up there, and you take risks.
Yeah.
And you're not afraid to die.
Yeah.
And no, it is how do you get better or push yourself? You know what I mean? Without taking those risks.
The worst gig I ever did. Well, sorry, not the worst gig, but one of the gigs. A funny story was I was in Sydney. I was very drunk. I was playing in a club called The Basement in Sydney, and and normally I do this joke where a woman is laughing and she's with a guy, and I say, "Oh, laughter releases the same chemicals in your brain as an orgasm," right? So in a way, as a comedian. So the joke is I'm giving her an orgasm through laughter, and then oh, I'm not saying your boyfriend can't make you laugh, but not for as long as I can. But I was really drunk, and I was trying to I couldn't get the joke right. I was saying, I said, yeah, you can't make your girlfriend come or so I don't know what the fuck. I fucked it all up, and you man, he's an Australian guy, yeah. And then I was like trying to be funny. Oh, if you're a real man, you'd come up here and beat the shit out of me. So he picks up a bottle and just throws it at me because he's so angry. But the bottle just whizzed past my head and smashed on the back of the wall. Bouncers came in, took him out, took me out.
Took you out as well?
Yeah, and I was banned. That was it. Gone. Yeah, from that club. So in other words, drinking and comedy. I think this misnomer, a lot of comedians you think are drunk, like for instance Johnny Vegas, he's never really that drunk.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You couldn't be that sharp. Or Dean Martin and all that, pretending to be drunk,
They're tipsy. Too
I wouldn't even say they're tipsy.
I will also give you your flowers though, Dave. You are a fantastic comedian, one of the very few comedians that I stick around to watch, because what I like about you is you've got a set and you somehow keep, even though you do repeat the jokes, your set always seems fresh and bespoke for the audience you're performing to, even when it's upstairs or downstairs, as opposed to some people who do a set and it's like, oh, this is on rails. You know, yours is always moving and, you know, and you're in and out, and sometimes you anyway. So I think you're a brilliant comedian.
Thank
if you
you,
have
Darius.
the chance, listeners should definitely catch Dave McSavage.
Follow me on the Instagram at mine is bigger than yours. I don't know.
Meat feast. Irish meat feast.
Dogfart.com.
Oh yeah, but sorry, that's not really a funny story. Well,
No, it wasn't a funny. It's quite funny. It's
No,
death.
yeah.
What was your worst death, Nico?
And also, this room is very, very hot.
Yeah, it's
and I've
getting-
sort of lost the will to live a little.
All
bit.
right, so we end it here.
We need some oxygen.
All right, piss off. Thank you for listening to the Three Speech podcast. Sign up to our Patreon. Give us your money. It's just sitting in the account, which is good because he's Irish and that's what they do with money. I think that's from Father Ted, resting in my account. Like and subscribe, share, tell a friend. We're number 3 on the podcast charts. Get us to number 1 so more people can listen to us aimlessly rant on about stuff we've got no clue about. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bird gang.